Go away. The Fastcast at 5 starts in 1 minute. Sharon Hayes is following up on the 3-week mystery that left a 56-year-old woman dead. Jamal Goss is also hearing from friends and family of a well-known cyclist killed in a hit and run. He'll have the latest. And Chris Phillips is standing by. He's tracking weather and traffic for us. Don't go away.
Fox Fastcast at 5 News starts now.
Lexington County deputies are asking for help tracking down an accused killer. We'll tell you how investigators were able to name a suspect.
Hear from one cyclist who's calling on the community for help after his best friend was killed by a motorist. I'll have that emotional story coming up.
Well, it's been almost 3 weeks now since a Rosewood woman was killed right in this neighborhood, but I spoke with some of her loved ones and they say they're still hoping for answers.
A dog has defied the odds after being tied up for a whole month without food. Now he's gotten national attention, including law enforcement officers here at home. We'll have his story.
Starting to see a few returns on radar. We'll check it in your full Fastcast at 5.
And thanks for tuning in to the Fastcast at 5. I'm Myra Ruiz. We begin tonight with a developing story. Right now, Lexington County deputies are searching for a man who they say is responsible for a homicide that happened Friday night in West Columbia. Jamal Coburn is being charged with murder in the fatal shooting of Corey Jamison. Deputies responded to the 100 block of Riverbend Drive around 11 p.m. after getting a report about a shooting. Sheriff Jay Kuhn says multiple witnesses identified Coburn as the gunman. If you have any idea where Coburn might be, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers. The number is 1-888-CRIME-SC. A father of 3 was sentenced to 11 years in prison after pleading guilty to causing a deadly crash while driving under the influence. Torbert Mack of Orangeburg will have to serve at least 85% of that sentence before he can be considered for parole. Prosecutors say last November, Mack drove through a red traffic light and T-boned a vehicle that was driven by Miles Holland. The crash killed Holland and injured his girlfriend. Investigators say Mack's blood alcohol level was 3 times the legal limit. Holland's plea and sentencing comes as Mothers Against Drunk Driving calls for tougher penalties in DUI cases. Well, tonight, Lexington police say 2 women committed identity fraud and investigators need help identifying them. Police say these women on your screen used somebody else's identity to withdraw $5,700 from several Lexington ATMs. If you have any idea who they are, please call the Lexington Police Department at 803-358-7262. Tonight, officials are waiting for results of an autopsy after a deadly crash involving a tractor trailer. The Highway Patrol says the tractor trailer driver was thrown from the vehicle after hitting a bridge column. This happened around 4 o'clock this morning on the eastbound side of Interstate 26 near mile marker 151. Troopers say the driver was not wearing a seatbelt.
Skywatch weather, a warm, humid day. Did you notice that? Did you notice this? Some showers, thunder showers popping up in a few places. Orangeburg, little thunderstorm just to your south right now. Some folks will see some rain for that one. Very spotty today, but coverage will increase as we go through the week. Speaking of going, traffic not moving too bad right now. I-26 at 20 starting to slow down as folks kind of slide over to make that merger. You know how folks like to do. They like to slide over there and make that merger. Showing a pretty good flow on traffic right now. No problems yet. In fact, for this time of day, it's not really too bad. Check the traffic maps. 77 looking good. Starting to slow down on 126. We always do. Gervais a bit slow in the Bowl Street. Well, it's just going to be a problem till they get all that construction done. Stay with us. We'll get you through it. More weather in just a few minutes. Myra, back to you.
Chris, thank you. Well, funeral plans are set for Friday for a cyclist who died in a hit and run. Jamal Goss joins us live from Richland County where that accident happened. Hey there, Jamal.
Well, hey there, Myra. Right now, I am on Hardscrabble Road, near where investigators say Justin Turner was killed while riding his bike on Saturday. Fellow cyclists plan to ride in his honor. Now, those cyclists say that he was a rider with several cycling groups in Colombia, and he was a man with a big heart. They even called him an angel on earth. The 40-year-old was the father of 3 children and a husband married to a wife who is battling breast cancer. Investigators are looking for a silver sedan that witnesses say pulled out in front of a BMW. That BMW swerved and hit Turner, who was approaching the intersection on his bike. But investigators say the silver sedan kept going. Now cyclists who knew Turner say what happened has them at a loss for words.
Thinking of his wife and his children right now. Been thinking about them ever since this tragedy happened. I know that they have their faith in the Lord, and I know that's getting them through this. But it's just gonna take a long time. You only had to meet the guy for 5 minutes. It only took 5 minutes to fall in love with Justin Turner.
Now, Tim Mawson, who you just heard from, says a group of cyclists will leave his shop tomorrow at 6:15 and they will ride through the Summit community in Turner's honor. We will have all those details on our website at WACH.com. Live in Columbia, Jamal Goss, Watch Fox News.
Jamal, thank you. And if you and your family would like to help Justin's family, there is a GoFundMe page set up. For the link to this fundraiser, you can head to our website, WACH.com. Family and neighbors are waiting for answers after the unsolved homicide of a 56-year-old woman at her home. Sharon Hayes joins us live in the Rosewood community in Columbia. Hey there, Sharon.
Well, hey there, Myra. I'm actually here in the neighborhood where that incident took place. And though there are not a lot of answers at this time, I mean, just kind of hanging out in the neighborhood, several loved ones have come up to speak to me and said that, you know, Joan Straub is definitely not far from their minds and hearts, and they are still desperately wanting answers as to just what happened. Now, the 56-year-old woman was beaten and killed almost 3 weeks ago now on August 9th. And so far, there have been no suspects arrested in her case. Now, Straub's roommate actually discovered her body around 1 o'clock that Thursday afternoon, and a Richland County coroner determined that the woman did suffer from blunt force trauma to the upper body, so it was ruled a homicide. Now, just kind of hanging out here and passing by the house, I've seen family members coming in and out of the house, just kind of taking care of things. And in fact, a man who says he's Straub's uncle came out to talk to me, and he said the family is still reeling from just what happened. Now, he didn't want to go on camera, but he did say that at a time that was really hard for him, Joan Straub took him in and took care of him when there was no one else to do so. And also a neighborhood woman walking her dog passed by, and she said she saw Straub walking her dog all the time, and that she was a fireball, and she was really, really sweet, and that, you know, nobody can still believe just what happened to her.
The fact, before there was even a name, just knowing that it was someone at a house nearby who had been killed, we were all really freaked out. And then when we found out it was her, I mean, you obviously don't want it to happen to anybody, but when we found out it was her, she's so tiny. And, you know, just like I said, a very sweet woman, and who would want to do something like that?
Now, just speaking a little bit more with Straub's uncle, I know a lot of people in the neighborhood were concerned about her little dog, but he said that they gave the dog to a family friend that they knew would take really, really good care of the dog. And we're also waiting to hear an update from the Columbia Police Department, but we do know that Police Chief Skip Holbrook did come out and say that residents needn't worry about anything because this was an isolated incident. Until we have more, I'm Sharon Hayes, live in Rosewood. Watch Fox News.
Sharon, thank you. Making political headlines at this hour, today's Senate GOP runoff did not get off to a smooth start. According to the director of Richland County Voter and Registration and Elections, a programming error caused problems with voting machines at about a dozen precincts. But the director says this did not keep people from voting. They used old-fashioned paper ballots instead, at least until the problem was fixed. And Benjamin Dunn and John Holler are running against each other for the Republican nomination in Senate District 20. That is John Corson's former seat. Dunn and Holler were the top 2 finishers in a 4-way primary. The winner of the runoff faces Democrat Dick Harpootlian in the November election. Well, it was an emotional day on the Senate floor today as South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham paid tribute to fellow Senator and friend John McCain. Graham says McCain's lasting legacy will be his concession speech to Barack Obama in the 2008 presidential race. Graham says that the Arizona Republican, quote, taught us how to lose. Graham says he was lucky enough to walk in McCain's shadow.
It is going to be a lonely journey for me for a while. I'm going to need your help. And the void to be filled by John's passing is more than I can do. Don't look to me to replace this man.
And Graham is scheduled to read scripture at McCain's service, which is set for Saturday at the National Cathedral in Washington, D.C. Well, being techie and preoccupied with an app has landed some Midland students in the national spotlight. Coming up after the break, how what they created can potentially save lives.
You don't need an app to tell you it's warm and humid out there. Feels like August, doesn't it? We'll tell you what's going on. Your full Skywatch forecast is next. Skywatch weather, mostly muggy with little chance for relief. Looks like this on radar. Little relief in the form of a few widely scattered showers out there. The pattern is none too promising, though. Not a whole lot dropping in on us. A little thunder shower activity south of Orangeburg might cool you down, but for the rest of us, very hit and miss. There's a little line of low pressure just offshore. No, it's not that kind of low pressure. Just sweeping up the coast. It ruined beach days at Hilton Head and some Charleston area beaches today. Temperature-wise, it is most definitely August. 95 degrees in Columbia, Greenville 93, Asheville 86, and down in Charleston, some of the rain showers cooled it down to 86 degrees. Myrtle Beach, the better beach for today anyway, 84 degrees. Looks like this tonight going to be muggy, no surprise there. 74 degrees the overnight low. See a little patchy fog from that humidity, and sunrise on your Wednesday at 6:56. How long is this heat going to last? Well, for quite a while. We've got your full 7-day outlook coming up in just a few minutes, and we'll check traffic next as well. Right now, Myra, back to you.
Chris, thank you. A dog that authorities found malnourished and tethered to a tree is getting a lot of TLC today. Michelle Zhu explains how the show of support has crossed county lines.
Hey Myra, I'm at the Veterinarian Emergency Trauma and Surgery Hospital in Columbia. It's where Chant the dog is recovering after 30 days of being tied to a tree in Lawrence County. The young Mastiff arrived here 2 weeks ago in extremely poor health, down to the skin and bones. Richland County Sheriff's Department got word of Champ's road to recovery and came to show their support. Chant the dog was found left to die in Lawrence County 2 weeks ago. Authorities said he was starved, covered in maggots, and too weak to stand in this summer heat. But just before it was too late, Animal Control found the 1.5-year-old Mastiff tied to a tree behind the home of Elizabeth James. She's now facing animal cruelty charges. Champ weighed half the weight Mastiffs are supposed to weigh, but in these 2 weeks of recovery, he's gained more than 10 pounds. He still has a long way to go and has to do physical therapy to get stronger. Even Richland County deputies say it's hard to make sense of animal cruelty cases like these.
Humans did this to him, and he's not holding this against the humans. And he still wants nothing. When the first thing when I came in, I heard him barking, and she was telling me he wants attention. He wants attention from the people, the same species that did that to him. So that's amazing. There's innocence about him, and if that doesn't tear your heart up, I don't know what will.
And the woman charged in this case, Elizabeth James, was arrested for ill treatment of animals. She could be fined up to $1,000 and face up to 90 days in jail. But a New York-based rescue group is arranging for Champ's care, and they say he could be ready for adoption in the next 4 to 6 weeks. You can apply for Champ by clicking on the link to this story at WACH.com. In Columbia, Michelle Zhu, Watch Fox News.
Michelle, thank you. Some Midlands teenagers just won a national honor, and there's an app behind that award. Students with the Columbia Urban League's Project Ready program created an app that alerts law enforcement in the case of a mass school shooting. They competed with students all across the country and won first place. Project Ready is a year-long program to help prepare middle and high schoolers for college. It targets those who are at high risk of dropping out, entering the criminal justice system, and being chronically unemployed.
a lot of people underestimate our capabilities. And I know everybody's underestimated, but it's specifically this stigma about Southern children that they aren't as smart as Northern children. So to all my peers that surround us and whoever participates in the next competition, be willing to put your best foot forward. Don't ever let nobody think that you can't do what you're supposed to do.
And congratulations to that team. The Columbia Urban League team is one of 24 National Urban League Project Ready sites. Well, still to come on Watch Fox News Fastcast, the Gamecocks and Tigers return to action this weekend, and Corey Miller will have the latest from a Talking Tuesday coming up in sports.
I see you. And welcome back to the Fastcast at 5. It is a Talking Tuesday finally. That means football week is here. The coaches are speaking to the media. And for the Gamecocks, they play at high noon against Coastal Carolina down from the beach. The Chanticleers come to town. Will Muschamp and the boys have been working very hard all fall getting this football team ready to go. Now they're coming off a very nice season last year, winning 9 games and beating a very good Michigan team. But, you know, you can't overlook teams like Coastal Carolina. I know Georgia lies there next week at home. They're looking forward to that game. But you got to take care of those guys that's coming here on Saturday first.
Every week is a season. So let's focus and be dialed in to what we can control this week, and that's playing Coastal. End of sentence. And really, whether it's in the meeting room, whether it's on the practice field, but all of our concentration needs to be there. And everybody else can talk about all the other stuff. We need to handle what we can control, and that's playing Coastal. And our preparation is so important for that.
And for the defending ACC champions, the Clemson Tigers, they get ready as well. They take on Furman on Saturday. Dabo pleased with Kelly Bryant. He named him the starting quarterback over Trevor Lawrence. Everybody wanted to name this rookie, this freshman, the starting quarterback, but Dabo said no. Kelly has had a nice fall camp, very consistent, and he's very proud of how he handled his situation.
I've just been really proud of him because how he's handled it. It's been really a breath of fresh air because he's just been locked in on himself. He's had an awesome camp, 3 scrimmages. I think he was 23 of 32, 300-something yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. And so, you know, he just came out on top from a grade standpoint. And that's, you know, at some point you gotta go play.
And, of course, we'll have much more tonight at News at 10 and our Gamecock Chalk Talk following News at 10 with Tori Gurley, so make sure you tune in for that. Speaking of tuning in, let's talk to the man with the plan, the man like 50 grand, Chris Phillips with the traffic report. Chris.
I'll tell you what, Corey, traffic is moving well, and not as well as you in that sharp jacket. You're really a sharp dresser these days, but it's moving in some places. Other places, starting to slow down. 20 was doing well. Bush River Road underpass is still getting by, not exactly flying through there, but you'll make it out 20. Just slow you down a little bit. Big picture looks like this. 77 still looking good this time of day. We appreciate it when it looks good. Meanwhile, there's the usual slowdown. We've got 126 slowing down, 26 for the curve. Heading up to 20 is a little bit slow. Gervais Street slowing it on down. And what else? Oh yeah, Bull Street. As long as they have construction, you have a problem. That'll be going on for a while. We'll check weather coming up. Your 7-day forecast in a few minutes. Stay with us right here on Fastcast at 5.
So in tonight's Consumer Watch, your best chances of getting a free college education just might be in the land of Lincoln. That is where you'll find the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign campus, which has just announced that it is offering free tuition to qualifying students through a program called Illinois Commitment. Now, for those who qualify, students have to be a resident of Illinois. Their family income cannot be higher than $61,000, and they must be under the age of 24. This program will be open to entering freshmen in the fall of 2019. Well, social media apps, Instagram and Tinder, want to make college students even more connected. Both apps are adding new features that cater specifically to them. Instagram is testing a feature that opens up direct messaging between students at the same schools. Tinder is rolling out Tinder U, so users can automatically get in touch with classmates or search for them or people at nearby colleges. And we're going to take a look outside now, or actually long lines outside of a Detroit museum on Tuesday, where fans are waiting to see the Queen of Soul for the very last time. The body of Aretha Franklin arrived at the Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History for 2 days of visitation. There will be a free tribute concert for Franklin on Thursday, and there will also be a viewing that same day at New Bethel Baptist Church. Franklin died of pancreatic cancer earlier this month. Her funeral is scheduled for Friday at Greater Grace Temple. Former President Bill Clinton will speak at the funeral. And coming up after the break, remember that red car from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, the one they weren't supposed to be driving? Well, take a look at this similar car. This Ferrari fetched a pretty penny. We'll tell you how much. Appreciate beautiful cars.
That's a great one.
What do you think of this one?
I like it. I'll take it.
Yeah, okay. Well, it might cost you a lot of money. This is a 1962 Ferrari GTO, and it went for the highest price ever sold at a public auction. It was bought for $48 million. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. Now, GTOs are really expensive because they were the dominant racing cars in the 60s, and they only made a few of them. I think only 3 dozen of this kind of car.
Well, I'll still take it, but I'm going to have to finance, I think. I can't afford it all at once.
Yeah. And if you're driving in certain places around this town, you won't be going very fast,
You
right?
won't need a Ferrari
Right.
to get stuck in traffic. Take whatever you have. It's going slow out there. I-20 slowing down pretty good. Traffic is just muggy. It's not slow. It's just muggy. 94 tomorrow. Better chance of showers and those thunderstorms coming Thursday and Friday and Saturday, or as we call it, your weekend. Hopefully missing your high school football games this week, but it won't be high and dry like last week. Roads are slowing down. Be careful on 20 and 26. 77 moving okay for now.
Yeah, not quite good Ferrari driving.
Nah, you got to be careful with those.
Traffic, right? Exactly. Well, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you at 10.